Well, how was your weekend? Did you have a good time? Anyone watch the Super Bowl? Did you see any good commercials? I saw a few I liked, but some years you get a ton of great commercials, and other years it's like, meh. Oh, I guess there was that meh commercial, right? There's one that's all about meh. Huh. If you saw anything you liked, let me know. Put it in the chat. I'll check it out. I'm going to go look up a lot of these commercials later just to think about it again. We had family over, just having food and fun, and happened to be a football game on that wasn't particularly a great game. It was okay, but we like to check out all the commercials. So go back and find the good ones. Since these companies spend umpteen millions of dollars on all these brand new commercials during the Super Bowl. Get halfway through February here this weekend. Valentine's Day coming up Saturday. I don't know if anyone's got any big exciting plans for Valentine's Day. I'm taking my wife to the comedy club. We're actually going to go see Don McMillan in concert in Lowell in the comedy club. So he's a nerdy comedian. He does comedy with PowerPoint presentations. I mean, that's my kind of guy right there. Very nerdy comedian. So don't take my wife doesn't have any idea who he is. So we're actually going to double date. We're going to double date. Taking a friend of mine. He has the wife going. So that's our Valentine's plans. Let's go look at our curriculum. Let's see what's going on in Buzz today. I always start with the grade screen because that tells us what we've got turned in, what we haven't. You should have 4 things turned in. Well, yes. Exponential, logarithmic, x and logarithmic mid-module check. That was our quiz. Graphing exponential. Now, there was another assignment that was optional, although several of you have done it. See, I chose not to do it, so it disappeared from my grade screen. There's an optional assignment on graphing logarithms. And if some of you have done that, that's great. I'll have a few extra points. If you miss any points on the test, I'll replace it with the logarithm. But this week, we have the exponential and logarithmic functions test, parts 1 and 2. That's what we have this week. So let's go take a look at the activity screen. Now, it says that there's a practice test right here, exponential logarithmic functions review and practice test. But we didn't see a practice test on the assignments page. When you click on this, let me show you what's here. This will have the lesson summaries. This is the lesson summaries from the lessons we looked at. Lesson 5.01 tells about exponential functions. This will have what we learned in that lesson. If it ever loads, let me try this again. 5.01, lesson summary. How to solve exponential equation. There's the steps, exponential growth and decay functions. Here's the formulas we learned in that. And so you can look at the lesson summaries from each of the lessons that we went through. You may already hopefully you already have all this in your notes. But remember, you can use your notes on the tests. Any notes you got are open game there, but graphing exponential functions. But if you go to page 2 here, there is 2 pages on this. Page 2, there is actually a practice test right here. It's just on paper. I mean, you can print this out or write these problems down. It does have some problems here. Thank you, Josephine. Like, what is the solution to this equation? 9 to the x minus 1 equals 27. There are, see how many questions are on the practice test. 21, 22. Oh, yeah, there's 25. There's 25 questions. And then they give you the answers. Here's the answers down here. So you can work any of these problems if you're wanting some practice before you take the test. You can work any of these problems, just work them on paper. You can print this if you have a printer. Have the ability to print. You can hit the print button there and print this. You can download this. Just want to download it on your Chromebook. But here's all the questions. Here's the answers. All right, that just gives you, here's the answer. Boom, 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 boom. But if you got this and it's like, wait, I didn't get that answer. What I do wrong? If you keep scrolling down, here's the solutions. Here's how to get the answers right. Here's how to do number 2. Look at all the steps so you get the answer. Number 3, number 4. So if you scroll down and your answer's wrong, you can continue scrolling down and it'll show you exactly all the steps to work it. And yes, before you ask, if you want to print out the practice test with its answers and the solutions on how to do everything, you can use that as notes. Yes, you can print out stuff from the lesson and have that as your notes, and it'll have examples how to work problems. Now, I'm sure, and I haven't really double checked, I'm sure the exact problem that's on the practice test is not on the test, but I'll bet there's one real similar. Oh, here's how you do it on the practice test. So if I use that same method on this problem, I can work that because the practice test should practice what you need to know to be in the test. So you can print out the practice test if you want and use that as notes for the test because all notes are valid for my tests. Now let's look at the test while we're here and see what the test looks like so you have some idea. Okay, and we'll get back off the screen. This first right here, that's got a little blank icon. That means that's not really any assignment. That just says, congratulations, you've completed the module. Be prepared, take the test. Ready to take the test, you can do it. This is just all right, make sure when you get in there, do your best, all that kind of stuff. But if we go to the next part, this is the actual test. Here's part one. Part one is always multiple choice. Let's see how many questions. Which of the following is the solution to this equation? Here's the equation. What is the solution? Multiple choice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 problems. 10 problems on the first part. Compare the graphs of these log functions. Write the equation to represent this one. It gave you the equation for this one. What would make this graph become this? Which one of these equations? And yes, you can use Desmos. You can go open up a Desmos window and start graphing equations and see which is work. That's all game. All right, so that's part one. Yes, I know, I want to leave. Part two is where it gets tricky because it's not multiple choice. It's this big blank right here. Larry and Peggy are making decisions about their bank accounts. Larry wants to deposit $350 with an interest of 4% quarterly. Peggy wants to deposit $350, 6% monthly. Show all your work to see who's going to have more money after 2 years. Which way? Which one? Show the work. Do the work for Larry, then do the work for Peggy. There are 4 problems here. This is the easiest one down to the bottom. It's got 2 different functions and wants to know the solution to the functions. This is basically a systems of equation problem. What's doing in the exponential and logarithm? I don't know. Yeah, I do, because it's an exponential. The blue line on the graph is exponential. But this, if you look at the graph and get the answer from looking at the graph, just tell me, I looked at the graph and here's what I saw. Here's the answer. That one doesn't take a lot of work because you should be able to look at the graph and get the answer. This one tells you use the change of base formula. Some of you people didn't do that on the quiz. You put the right answer, but you took the log of both sides and never used the change of base formula. Sure. Solve the equation. Use complete sentences to describe the steps to solve this. 23 raised to the power of x equals 6. So what power of x would it take for 23 to be equal 6? Let's see. Gives you the equation f of x equals 2 to the x, where x is the length. How can he convert this to a log function whose strength is 8 pascals? Some of these. This is from lesson 2, so this is from the log lesson. This is lesson 1, the exponential. This is lesson 2. This one's lesson 2. So it tells you which lesson had this stuff. If you're working on this and you need to pause, you can save and exit and then come back to it. If you want to go back and look at the lesson 2, it's like, oh, I don't remember how to do that. Let me go look at lesson 2. Save and exit. Here's the other thing. When dealing with these, insert equation, this button right here. I can't tell you enough. Use this insert equation. And if I'm going to do an exponent, 23 raised to the power of x, it'll actually make it look raised to the power of x. It looks right when I use the insert equation, rather than just going 23 raised to the power of x. See, that looks different. This looks right, especially when doing like logarithms. There is insert symbol. You can type logarithms and do the little sub thing. Where's the right there's the sub. So if I'm saying log, and I want base 2, that's a subscript 2 of 50. Log underscore 250. Look at that. It actually has the little base 2. It looks right. It's easier to understand when you put things in the proper way. Because otherwise you go like log 250 or something, and you're like, is that the log of 250? I'm not quite sure what you're doing. This, you know exactly what you're doing. You got the little subscript 2. Use the insert equation button. All right, let me make this speech again, because it seems like somebody still doesn't get it. Uh, 4 questions, multiple choice, 10 points each, 40-point test. You're like, oh man, showing all my work, that's a big pain. Maybe, maybe not, because this affects people every single test. If you show your work, all right, I'm going to do this, do this, do this, do this. Here's my answer. And I look at that and I go, that's not the right answer. Where'd you mess up? I got all your work. Oh, yep, that's good. That's good. Oh, that last step, you missed something. All right, I'll give you 8 out of 10, maybe 9 out of 10. If it's really good work, I'll wait. Okay, 8 out of 10. You got 8 points. That's 80%. That's a B just on that one question, right? 8 points. It's like, yay. Now let's compare you to the other person. I'm not going to show them my work. I'm just putting the answer. Okay, that's not the right answer. 0 points. I don't know where you went wrong. Did you even set the problem up right? Were you doing the right steps and just made a little mistake at the end and gave me? I don't know, because you didn't show me anything. So all I see is an answer and it's wrong. So 0 points. I can't justify to give you anything but that. But when you show me the work, okay, that's how you set it up. Oh, you convert it to a logarithm this way, or convert it to an exponential equation. You work beautiful. Oh, one little mistake. Well, that's great. I'm gonna give you a 9 out of 10. You did really good. That's why these questions help you when you show your work. Now, on the other hand, I'm just gonna put the answer. Okay, well, it's right, but how'd you get it? Did you call a friend and say what was the answer on number 3? I'll give you 5 points, but it says show all work. And since you didn't show all work, I can't give you all points. If it's right, okay, 5 out of 10. I don't know. Did you just ask somebody? Did you look it up somewhere? I don't know. Showing your work means showing your work. But it really, really helps you when you put the wrong answer. Because I can say, okay, well, that's all right. They're doing that. I mean, even if you didn't do a lot of stuff right, you're going to get more than 0 because you showed me work. I can say, okay, all right, all right. So it's to your advantage to show your work, and you need to get all the points. Just show me some work on how you got your answer. Hopefully your answer is going to be right, but if it's not, it really bails you out. I mean, think about that. You could have 4 wrong answers and still get, I don't know, 32 out of 40, maybe. It'd be 80%, 90%. Having all wrong answers, but you showed me work all the way, and I'm like, okay, they were working it. They just made little mistakes on all of these. Man, I'd love to get all wrong answers and still get 70, 80, 90% of the grade. That'd be awesome. So rather than just putting 4 answers and they're all wrong, I get a 0. So if you need help, if you start on this test and you're like, I'm just totally lost, come see me Wednesday. Come see me in class. Say, Mr. Brock, I'm trying to do the test and I still don't understand how to do this first problem. Okay. Well, I'm not going to work the first problem, but I'll work something similar. We'll go through how do you do the first problem. I'm happy to show you how to do it. I just won't do it for you because it's your test. So don't just, oh, I don't know, forget this. No, come to class, come see me. And if you can't make the class Wednesday, email me and say, hey, when can we meet? Because I really need to go over this, and I can't be in class Wednesday because I got this other stuff that I'm already have an appointment for or something. That's fine. But I want you to succeed. I want you to do well. I want you to be happy with your grade in here. And I like you guys are killing it. There's some really good grades in this class. So I'm not really that concerned. Since you've done so well in the assignments, you may not have any trouble at all with this. So and I hope you don't. So that's all you have this week, guys. Just the test.